Hey there people, how's it going? This is Cross the Rubicon channel. I'm just here feeding the cows and the goats where I'm staying. I just watched a video by The Platform, Sean Plunket, where he interviews Julian Batchelor, and most of you will know who Julian Batchelor is. He's doing the Stop Co-Governance tour of New Zealand, and well, wherever he's going now, he's copping a whole lot of flack. There's a lot of violence. The violence is escalating against Julian and people who want to stop co-governance in New Zealand. And let's face it, people, whether you like it or not, the media and the government and Maori elites, lots of people ask me, oh, who are these Maori elites? You know who they are. You see them on telly every night on the news, preaching hatred towards everything not Maori. These people want New Zealand, and they want everything. They want every square inch of New Zealand, these Maori elites. And this government, via the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People, they are making governments all around the world, and especially New Zealand, do what they're doing. They're going to hand over this country, New Zealand, what the Maori like to call Aotearoa, which it was never called. They're going to hand it over to Maori, who, for some reason, have convinced the United Nations and these ill-equipped to smell a con politicians. They've convinced them that Maori are indigenous to New Zealand. And I know some people are going to get upset about that, but they're not. They're not indigenous to New Zealand. Yes, they were here before the Brits. There's no doubt about that. But there were people here before Maori. Maori came here in their own history, the old history. They came here in the 13th century. But now, they've got indigenous title. So basically, the United Nations, via the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, i.e. the New Zealand version of that is the Hei Puapua document, are going to take total control, 100% control of New Zealand by 2040. Most people won't read the Hei Puapua document, and these are the people, the white people even, who are outside these protests, protesting Julian Batchelor's tour and calling him a Nazi and a fascist and Adolf Hitler and blah blah blah, and yet they refuse to even read it. I can't understand their mentality. I can't climb into their heads. Yesterday I watched a video of Rawiri Waititi, Rawiri half-wheaty Waititi if you like. Well, you can't do satire now, can you, in New Zealand, especially if it's against the Maori. But he made a home video and he put it on Facebook of his, I guess it was his own home, showed one of his kids, one or two of his kids, and lovely kids I'm sure, but imagine having a dad like that, with a face like that. But anyway, but he said, he actually says on that video, I forget whereabouts, but the video can't be shared. Funny that, can't be shared, only amongst his friends. But he said Maori in New Zealand live in fear because of the Stop Co-Governance tour by Julian Batchelor. Maori in New Zealand live in fear. Now I put it to you, people of New Zealand, do you know any Maori in New Zealand that live in fear? Really? Who do they live in fear of exactly? Maori have got the upper hand in New Zealand. They get everything on the plate. They are the most privileged people in New Zealand, and yet Rawiri Waititi and Maori radicals and even the government and bureaucrats say the opposite is true. Rawiri Waititi says this because he wants to take this country over. This is worth billions and billions and billions and billions, hundreds of billions to them. to these Maori elites. And they will stop at nothing to get their hands on this lolly. It's worth maybe trillions at some stage. And Julian Batchelor and people like him, like myself, are not going to get in the way, and they will do anything to stop it. And upping the violence at Julian Batchelor's Stop Co-Governance Tour is one way to stop his tour, to stop information, to stop people sharing information, freedom of speech. Because these people, these radical extremists outside, Maori and wet liberals, who really do believe the country should be handed over to Maori, because they're a minority who have only been here for 800 years, 750 years. I can't understand it, I really can't. I don't think any sensible person can understand it. There was a lady the other night in Palmerston North, I think it was it Hastings? No, I think it was Palmerston North, who was knocked to the ground and kicked. I've got a feeling I know who it is, but I'm not going to mention any names. The phone was kicked or knocked out of her hand, like mine was in Takaka. And she was kicked on the floor right in front of police, and the police did nothing. And when she said to the police, "What are you going to do about this?" the policeman said, apparently, allegedly, "I didn't see anything." I was taken away by the police in Takaka just a week or so ago, and for assault, even though it was clear on camera I was assaulted. But I had a phone call 2 days ago from Takaka police to say that no, the video evidence, my video evidence and other video evidence, completely exonerates me, and what I did was completely self-defense. So, but they tried to say that I bashed a woman, apparently. But this is what they're doing. They're lying and lying and lying to make it sound like we're a gang of fascists, when indeed it's them who are the fascists. They are the fascists. It's them who are trying to destroy freedom to partake in information, and freedom of sharing information, and freedom of speech. They're trying to take it away. And they want this country. They want every inch, every single inch. Marama Davison, the radical extremist Maori leader of the Green Party, said she wants to kickstart the Waitangi Treaty process up all over again, start it all again. To pay for the land stolen. Land stolen? This is never going to end. But she wanted to go to private property. She wants private property to be taken. That's what she says. It's going to be part of her manifesto, the Green Party. So if you've got private property, that if Maori say it's on their land because, I don't know, because someone dragged a body across it many, many hundreds of years ago, or they feel like it's their land, if you've got property on that, well, your property's in danger, because that's all they have to say. And let's face it, the Waitangi Tribunal, it's run by radical extremist Maori. Everything. Radical extremist Maori who will make decisions 100% in Maori claimants' favour. So whether you live on a big sheep station, in the Canterbury High Country, a lifestyle block 10, 20 acres in Canterbury, or anywhere up north, wherever, doesn't matter, Southland, Otago, or even if you live in a 2-bedroom dwelling in Christchurch, or Timaru, or Hastings. If Maori say your house is on their land, then say goodbye to your house, because that's what's coming. That is what is coming. And if you're one of those people who went to those protests, protesting against Julian, the penny's going to drop for you. The penny's going to drop. Are you willingly going to hand over your house? Are you? Because I guess a lot of these protesters that go to Julian's Stop Co-Governance meetings and protest with these radical extremist Maoris outside, I expect you've got homes. I mean, I'm talking about the non-Maori protesters now. I expect you've got homes. Your homes are in danger. Your homes are in danger. But you refuse to see it. They're coming for yours. They are coming for yours, and they're laughing about it. They're laughing at your stupidity because you're siding with them. I think maybe if you're one of them, you're non-Maori protester, and you want to call Julian Batchelor Hitler, and I don't know, Mussolini or a fascist or a Nazi or whatever. Maybe you should lead by example and just handing over the keys to your property and all your wealth. Just hand it over to local iwi. I'm sure you'll get a big slap on the shoulder for it. And they'll laugh at you behind your back because of your stupidity. Anyway, Sean Plunket spoke to Julian this morning on, well, it wasn't this morning, yeah, it was this morning, I think it was, on the platform. And to be fair, he was very fair. And I support Julian 1,000%, what he's doing. And it must be affecting his health, I have no doubt. I watched a video just the other night when he was in Palmerston North, I think it was. And he had about 10 police in a box formation around him, just to get into the venue. 10 police. It's escalating. And I believe these Maori elites, like the man I mentioned earlier with the tattoos all over his face, who says Maori live in danger in New Zealand. Maori live in danger. They live in fear every day. Maori do. Are you? I was going to swear then. Are you kidding me? Does anybody believe in New Zealand that Maori live in fear in New Zealand? The opposite is true. The absolute opposite is true. And the media and the government, the Labour government, probably the Maori party, Luxon, apparently he's changed tack now. But no, he's a globalist. He'll do exactly what he's told by the United Nations and the WEF. I don't know who's to vote for, I wouldn't know. But I tell you what, if Julian Batchelor ran for the Prime Minister of this country, I know he'd probably stand no chance. But I'd vote for him with bells on. Something seriously wrong in New Zealand, and it stinks. The media stink. The media are liars. Every single person that works in the media stinks to high heaven. They're liars. They have got no moral compass. No integrity. Not one of them. They are paid to lie to the great New Zealand public. And most New Zealanders, they can't see it because they watch TV3, they watch TVNZ, they listen to Radio New Zealand, they read the papers. Everything is covered. Everything. Everything's completely Maorified. Everything is geared towards supporting basically the Maori takeover of New Zealand. Everything. And if you say anything against it, you're a Nazi, or you're a fascist, or you're far right white supremacist. And well, if you're watching this and you still don't believe what I say, then I feel sorry for you. I really do. I feel sorry for you. Especially if you're not Maori and you think, oh, he's just a big far right white supremacist. Because you've read it in the papers. Or you've seen it on stuff, read it on stuff. I say it to you. You're pathetic. You really are pathetic. If you think that. Okay, I think I've said enough. This is Across the Rubicon. Please like, leave a comment. Check out the video below of the Sean Plunket and Julian Batchelor interview this morning. And subscribe to my channel. Share this video everywhere. Okay, see you later.